we're going to take some stops for some Hasidic singing, which will help us again reflect on those ideas and try to take it to heart and apply it. All right, once we are live here, we are going to share the screen and watch together a video about the day. Does everyone see it? See it? Come on a second. My friends on Zoom, do you see the video? Please speak up. Anyone?
Yes, I can see it.
Very good. Thank you.
Yud Tes Kislev, the 19th day of the Hebrew month of Kislev, marks the new year for Hasidism. It was on that day that Rabbi Shneur Zalman, the founder of Chabad Lubavitch Hasidism, known as the Alter Rebbe, was released from imprisonment in Tsarist Russia in the year 1798. The Rebbe, Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson, would hold a farbrengen, public address and Hasidic gathering, usually lasting 5 or 6 hours into the early morning. In fact, the Rebbe is a descendant of Rabbi Shneur Zalman and gets his name Schneerson from Schneer. Shnei Or means 2 lights. His parents, by divine inspiration, named him for the 2 parts of the Torah that he would illuminate, by updating the code of Jewish law and introducing Chabad philosophy in his classical work, the Tanya. In the early days of Hasidism, the scholarly elite of Lithuania and Belarus saw the movement and the Alter Rebbe as fomenting revolution within Jewish society by empowering the lower uneducated classes to view themselves as having equal access to God. They presented the menace of Rabbi Shneur Zalman to the Tsarist police by painting him as a political revolutionary. On the backdrop of France's bloody revolution, the Tsar feared any change in his kingdom and lodged a complaint against the Alter Rebbe. One of the 22 charges the government brought against him was that he was trying to overthrow the Tsar by supporting the Sultan of Turkey. Years earlier, the Alter Rebbe had founded Kollel Chabad in Israel, and it became the obligation of every Chassid to support the Jews of the Holy Land, which was under Turkish rule at that time. The Rebbe was arrested and taken to the Peter Paul Fortress in St. Petersburg. When he was there, he was visited by his Rebbe, the Maggid of Mezrich, and by Rabbi Israel Baal Shem Tov, the founder of Hasidism, both of whom had long since passed away. The Alter Rebbe asked, "Why have I been imprisoned?" His Rebbe's answered, "There is an edict against you on high, for you have taken the greatest secrets of the Torah and scattered them across the lowly earth." "When I am released, should I refrain from teaching Hasidus?" the Rebbe asked. They replied, "On the contrary, now that you have finally broken the barrier, you must increase your efforts." With Rabbi Shneur Zalman's release, Hasidism began to spread in earnest.
Ben Melech, was gewesen bei Mamed und Matzav Bori, danach ist geworden a Chele. Hat gesagt dem Melech, darf onkel, Lifuose, soll nehmen der Even Jikorische Bekesser Melech, was in dem Even ist Tolle der Jefi, der Jeker von dem Kesser Malchus. Ist Kolzmann der Chele noch nie gewähnt. Ad kedei kach der Melech hat drum gesagt, soll man sich proben auf andere Wege. Schaßen ist aber angekommen und gesagt dem Melech, a der Masse von dem Ben-Melech ist, a Inje, wo das Negea, Bechaye, hat nicht nur Natir gewählt. Wir sollen nehmen dem Even, Shebekesser am Malchus, und wir sollen das zu reiben und reinmischen das im Wasser und prüfen sich, gießen in dem Ben-Melech und beloschen am Moschel Escher, wird a Tipa reingehen bei Pnimis und wird der Mechai sein und bei Schaas mir fragt, was ist da geworden der Schinoi in der Rentfer bepasst. A der ganze Linien a Kessel mit dem Eben Schebekessel mit dem Jefi und der Piulas a Kessel verbunden mit dem Metzies von Ben Melech. Und unter demut beschaß in der Geh zu sein Metzius, ist auch demut nicht nur mutterlegale Sesa-Chochma. Und nicht nur als das Wert hat Zivu in Chugim Mitzuyomim, Apal Pivo das Chugim Rechovim, der Adarabe Davke in Chutza, wo dort ist der Dachshash und der Sakona, Pikuach Nefesh Ruchni, Beyese Seis und Beyese Reis, muss sein dort in der Linien, also lang kommen nach hinzu. Tage zusammengemischt mit zu lieben, zusammengemischt mit Chulu. Wo das ist der Chechet, was bepasst ist darf man sich bewohnen, als Afal Pivas mit Masbild, mit allen Dugmois, bis mit Psori Erzerlika, Rose de Rosin de Reiso, darf man gleich bewohnen, aber das ist mehr nicht wie ein Moschel, und sie dort kommt nicht zu dem Nimschel, bis la Halbel kamme, Iluim und Meiles wie Darges. Wo das ist der Cheche, der Limud und angewiesen, klar beim Matten Tero, wo damals sagt mir der Cheche, wie der Rambam bringt der Robbe Sifre, Jidei Hashem und Nein Hashem, wie Kajese Baze, wo das sich mehr nicht wie ein Moschel, Dibra Tero, Keloschen Bnei Yoda. No doi zugekommen a Dibra Tero in Rose Dei Rosin, am sich Masbir, die Rose Dei Rosin, beloschen Bnei Odom, und das wird a Dover Hechrochi, wie der Moschel von dem alten Reben von dem Baal Agiulo, wo schein ogedruckt bei Protis und sie schein me Furse.
Yiddish. Do you like Yiddish? Okay, we'll take a little stop here before we continue a little later with a special song. So let's start our conversation for tonight. You could still continue eating if you would like, but really what we see here what Hasidus, the Hasidic philosophy is, we consider it something so basic, right? The Rebbe just mentioned that it's so basic necessities of the Jewish people, and that's why when it was revealed in the time of the Baal Shem Tov, the founder of the Hasidic movement, and then down by the Alter Rebbe, which started the Chabad movement, which really took it a whole, many steps forward, and we consider this to be a revelation in the Torah of something so basic and so necessary for Jews, for people, for us living in this time. Something which perhaps 500 years ago was not necessary. Now it's necessary. What is that? And why is it so necessary? What are we talking about? So my friends, when we talk about Hasidic philosophy, we're talking about Hasidus, we're talking about the secrets of the Torah, or I would say not just the secrets of the Torah. We're here, the Kabbalah of meaning, right? The Kabbalah. Kabbalah is the secrets of the Torah. But the way the Alter Rebbe, the way Chabad Hasidic philosophy works, that the Rebbe took those ideas of Kabbalah, the secrets of the Torah, and made them very applicable and relevant to our own lives in a way that everyone could understand it, because it's not just the secrets of the Torah, but really it's the inner meaning of everything that we have in life, everything that we have in the world. So really, what we have done in the past 5 weeks, talking about meaning, right? We spoke about meaning, we spoke about purpose. What we have done, we dug deep into our life experiences. right? Think about time, for example. We took a holiday, which perhaps is, we know it as face value. We know of Passover, we know Hanukkah, we know at face value what that means, but we saw how if we dig a little deeper and we know what's the meaning of time, we understand how those godly revelation, godly energy of that appears at that day is something new. It's something that is every year comes again, and the same is true with every moment of life. It's full with meaning. That means to reveal the inner part of everything, and that's true also with the inner part of our own life. The fact that we have purpose, that's the inner meaning of our experience, of our existence. So today, my friends, let's try to go even deeper. We spoke a lot about meaning, we spoke a lot about purpose, spoke about how to find meaning and how to align ourselves with our purpose and how helpful that is. And today we're going to talk about something which is really sits in many people's minds, and that is self-worth. Self-worth in the eyes of the Hasidic Torah, the Hasidic movement, the Alter Rebbe. We'll see actually some texts that the Alter Rebbe himself wrote in his monumental book, the Tanya, and we're going to build our own self-worth based on that. How is that? All right, L'chaim. So let's raise our glasses. If you have a beverage, come on, Alex. Do I need to take care of you? Yes. Oh, that's great. We have very grapefruit. Please pass it around so everyone could say L'chaim. And this is really what we celebrate today. We celebrate the ability to connect to these ideas, to these truths that are transforming our lives. And this is why we're going to see later today, this is why this is so basic necessities to each and every one of us. Back in the days, they didn't need it. Today, we do need it. Today, we do need to hear this. Today, we do need to go deeper and see who we are. What are we all about? What is the Torah all about? What is mitzvahs all about? What is our life all about? So, but we can't go there if we're not ready to open up a little bit. And we open up with some L'chaim. L'chaim. L'chaim, my friends on Zoom. Okay, so if you want to take out your books, I invite you to open page 157 for a little exercise. Although we don't need the book for it, because this is more a thought experiment. And the question is very simple. Who are you? How would you describe yourself? And I'm not asking you to tell me. I'm asking you to think about it yourself, or to write it down, or to just think about it. How do you describe yourself? Take a minute and think if someone is asking you who you are, how do you describe yourself? No, I said it's not that group discussion. If I will go first, it will kill the whole lesson. So if anyone would like to share, you could, but that's not the point. The point is really not for it to share. The point is for us to reflect on ourselves, okay? So who we are. Now, because really, if I am to assume, I hate to assume, okay? I hate to assume. But if I am to assume how we describe ourselves, I would say normally, people describe themselves by what they do, right? I am a teacher. Why am I a teacher? Because I teach. I am a doctor. Why? Either because I practice medicine, or because somehow I survived medical school. That's another way of being a doctor. They doctor. Right? We describe ourselves by what we do, or by the way we appear. That's usually right. How else would you describe yourself, right? And tonight, we'd like to, as I said, we'd like to go a little deeper, and we'll try to find what is beneath the surface. Not just what I do, but who I am. and we'll try to figure out a fundamental, often overlooked idea, which is called mattering. Do I matter? Mattering. Because if you think about it for a second, when we know that we matter, we feel meaningful, right? The question is, how do you feel? How do you? What does that mean to be to matter? Usually, when we say "I matter," what comes right after that?
Means you've made a difference in someone else.
In someone else's life, right? I matter to someone. That's usually the way it works. If you want to see text number 1, page 158, it's coming from a secular source. Rob, do you want to read it?
Need to matter?
Yes. Yeah.
Think about the first time you realized you mattered. What happened? How did you feel? Chances are your moment of mattering impacted and moved you. Most likely you felt important because of what someone else said or did. Feeling significant is a basic human desire and a critical factor for mental, emotional, and physical well-being in life, school, and work. So, what is mattering? Why is mattering so important? And how can we learn to create the experience of mattering for others? Research finds mattering is the feeling that we're a significant part of the world around us. It's the belief that we're noticed, important, and needed right now. While studies show experiencing mattering increases a sense of self-worth and motivation, research also finds it reduces the risk of severe depression, anxiety, and can save lives.
All right. So what do we see here? We see that we need to matter. We need to matter. The question is, do we matter? Right? So usually most of us have had moments that we felt mattered to somebody, right? As the text said, you matter, you made the day to somebody, or you matter to someone. Now, many times, and here is the catch. Here is the catch, my friends. Oftentimes, we associate mattering with someone else. Because I did something for someone else, because they complimented me, because they told me something, because they did something to me, because we have a relationship of some sort. That's why I matter. But what's the danger of that? What is the danger of this? Anyone?
Someone else's opinion.
Very good. You're constantly relying on someone else for something so basic and necessary in your life.
Sometimes some people will believe they matter because of the things they have.
The things they have. What do you mean?
Because of the things they have.
What do you mean the things that they have? So you matter to whom?
Anybody. I mean, there are people who find their self-worth by their possessions.
I hear that. I mean, definitely, if you say there are people like that, but that's a pretty interesting. If you think about it, matter need to be to somebody, or to something higher, something equal. But someone matters just because they have a house. Like, no matter to whom. I mean, in the sense that they do feel that, but it's interesting, and usually, perhaps at the outset, externally, it looks like these people, they feel so content, but in the inside, most cases, even the people with big houses and many millions in the bank account, they still feel empty. Why do they feel empty? Because they don't feel that self-worth that we're talking about. They don't have that. Because they don't, exactly.
They don't have people who care about them. They need that.
Very good.
They need empathy.
Very good. Very good.
So instead of what's the matter, we can ask who is the matter?
Who is the matter? Yes, exactly. But so when you see here the catch is mattering is something so important in life. But in so many cases, or so often, we rely on others for this basic necessity of life. Is that really the recipe for a meaningful, successful life? Not really. Not really. you can't feel meaningful, you can't feel mattered, you can't feel worthy if all your worth is based on what someone else will say. Because yes, someone told you, you are amazing, you are great, you are so meaningful for me. So validates you. Amazing. But you always now you feel the fear of disappointing them, losing them, because once you lose them, you lose your whole self-worth. That dependence, that being dependent on someone else in such a way is an extreme case or a very common case for depression, for anxiety, for many mental health problems. So my friends, so let's try to figure out if there is something else. And I heard once from Rabbi Y.Y. Jacobson. Anyone knows Rabbi Y.Y. Jacobson? A very talented speaker in the Jewish world. And he said once he was flying for a speaking engagement in Sydney, Australia. And next to him, sitting on the plane, sitting a guy who's, not married, and he's like, specifically not getting married. He doesn't want to, responsibilities of marriage and everything. And is, and as they, they talk the entire flight. Anyways, as they're landing, Y.Y. Jacobs is taking his phone. He's calling his wife to report they landed safely. So the guy looking at him, you see, I don't need to call anybody. I don't need to report to anyone. I landed, I came here, I came there. I'm free to go, I'm free to go, I'm free to leave. And Y.Y. said, he thought to himself, well, you don't need to call nobody because you're not matter to anybody. There's no one, but I'm saying there is, you don't have that person that that you feel that cares about you. Now, hopefully, even people that are not married, hopefully you do have friends, you do have family, you do have, siblings. And I mean, it definitely there, but the idea that I'm trying to say about marriage is it's an important factor of life. We need to, and that's why community is so important, because we need to matter to someone. It's a necessity of life. The question is though, is that all? Is that really mattering? Self-worth only come from someone else.
Come from inside.
Oh, it has to come from within. The question is, do we have intrinsic worth? Okay, because we need to find it inside of ourselves. We need to find value. We need to find that worth inside of ourselves, and not to be dependent, not on marriage, and not on friends, and not the community, and not on anyone. The question is, that sounds very scary. If you leave it just up to us, 1 second, am I worthy? Am I worthy really? Do I have that intrinsic worth, intrinsic value?
Yes.
Or not?
Yes, I do 200 pounds with it.
200 pounds. Alex, l'chaim. So that's the real question. The real question we want to ask ourselves is, are we worthy? But I think after we sit together and we say a little l'chaim, the question is not really are we worthy. The question is let's discover. Let's discover how we are worthy. That's not really a question. Are we worthy? We are, of course. The question is, what's the basis of that? What's the basis of me getting up in the morning and telling myself, well, I have what it takes. I matter. What's the basis for that? Is that true? Okay. We ready to continue? Any questions so far? Janice. Why? Let's make it a discussion.
Start from being a baby as you go through life and the different influences.
Yeah.
How you feel about yourself often is dependent on your siblings, your parents, I mean, that is at different levels.
Right.
So I may think, hey, I'm great at 5 or 6 or 10, but at 15, I'm not so great anymore. You know what I mean?
Yes, no,
15 years.
absolutely. So thank you for bringing that up. It's an important.
Looks totally differently. Which is a different subject, sort of. Yeah, it's often how we are, who we are at different levels, stages of life.
Right, right. So that's so. Thank you for bringing that up, because those stages of life, of course, it's part of life, and that's part of the human experience. What we are going to try to dig deep and see, is there something that we could tell our children, teach them, inspire them. And children, I'm not talking about our children. I'm talking also about the little child that we each have inside. Is there something we could tell ourselves and our children, something about ourselves that is going to help us all throughout life, even in those moments, frustrating moments of being a teenager or whatever it is that we go through life? Is there still, with everything, is there still something, a true intrinsic value that I have inside of ourselves that is not going to change,
And tap into.
that we could tap into, and we have it in our toolbox? We have it right there. So that's exactly what we want to explore. All right. Okay. So of course the answer is yes, we do have that value, and that value is a value given to us by the fact that we are godly creatures. Remember, we spoke about purpose, right? Spoke about purpose. Remember those two interesting, the cherry Peter and the other thingy, right? We spoke about that with a good idea for a good example for purpose. Let's think about someone that Hashem created. Let's do it from a story from the Talmud, text number 2, page 160. Marsha, you want to take it?
Once Rabbi Elazar, the son of Rabbi Shimon, was returning from Migdal Gedor, from the home of his teacher. Riding along the riverbank on his donkey, he was feeling proud and content. He had just completed a significant stretch of Torah study. Along the way, he encountered a man who was unusually unattractive. The man greeted him respectfully. "Peace be upon you, my master." But Rabbi Elazar did not return the greeting. Instead, he said, "Worthless man, how ugly you are. Are all the people of your town as hideous as you?" The man replied, "I don't know, but you should go to the craftsman who made me and tell him how ugly is the vessel you have formed." At once, Rabbi Elazar realized how wrong he had been. He climbed down from his donkey, bowed before the man, and said, "You've spoken rightly. I admit my mistake. Please forgive me."
Okay, it's a puzzling story where we're not going to get into what the commentators explain, why Rabbi Elazar and without excusing his behavior and why he's doing it. We're not going to go there. It's not the topic of our conversation tonight. But let's just understand when we're talking about Rabbi Elazar, we're talking about a great Torah scholar. We're talking about a man of depth. A man of depth. So when he sees the person, he says, "Oh, look how ugly you are." He's not talking about the fact that the guy is just physically unattractive. That's not how people speak, and certainly not how a respectable person, a rabbi, a sage, and so on and so forth speak. That just not doesn't make sense. What really he means is talking about his spiritual state, which perhaps also kind of expressed itself in his physical appearance. So he means the physical, but not just the physical, but really the spiritual. And he's telling him, "Look at you. Look how distant you are from goodness, from kindness, from holiness. You're ugly. That means you're low." physically and spiritually. And what does the man answer him? It looks like that answer completely changed Rabbi Elazar's perspective, and he's like, oh my goodness, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that. What is he telling him? Go to the craftsman who made me. Who is that? Of course, God. That means what the person wanted to tell him is, do you believe in God? Do you believe that God is the craftsman of creation? Do you believe that God created everything in the world, not just created, but creates, as we spoke last week? Do you believe that I am a creature of God? Do you really think God creates junk?
No.
Of course not. Certainly, I have a purpose. Certainly, I am worthy of respect. That's what he's telling him. He's not just sending him an address. Oh, don't talk to me, talk to my boss. That's not the point. The point is, I want you to remember, he's telling my father, I want you to remember, I am not just a person. I am a creature of God. That means I was created and I'm being created every moment because I am important. Because there is a purpose in me being here right now. Even though he's not the best person. He's not the best person on the block. Not at all. He's very far from it, in fact. But still, he recognizes that there is a simple fact that no one and no action and no resume and no career could take away. What is that simple fact? The simple fact is that he is, and by extension, each and every one of us, are creatures of God, which God has created with intent and purpose. Once we get that, once we understand that, it changes the way we look at ourselves. Now, you could, but we could think about it. Well, but I don't feel that potential, and I honestly I never tapped into that potential in myself. Well, that doesn't take away from the potential. Imagine you have a drawer in your house, which in it lies a dusty key. A dusty key that really never been used. No one knows what that key, you got it from your grandmother, you got a whole drawer from your grandmother, you have no idea what's inside, you're afraid to look. But in that drawer, you have a key which is really getting all dusty, and you have no idea what that key is. But really, that key is the only key to a priceless treasure that only this key could open. Now, the fact that no one ever used that key, the fact that no one knows about that key, the fact that for all we know, for the next 100 years, it's going to continue to collect dust, that doesn't take away from the potential of that key, right? That doesn't take away from the ability for this key to be, not just the ability but from the fact that this key is a special key. It has the ability to connect, it has the ability to open up to something which is very precious. So this is who we are. And if we want to put it in the words that I believe everyone knows, everyone are familiar with, the divine image. Ever heard of the divine image, right? The divine image, our sages are telling us in the mission, in the ethics of the fathers. Rabbi Akiva is coming and telling us, in text number 3, we could read it inside page 161. Jackie, you want to read it?
Beings are beloved because they were created in the image of God. They're even more beloved because God let you know that they're created in his image. As it says, in the image of God, he made the humans in the world.
Okay, so here we are just getting into a little bit of a deeper idea. But so before we go into this deeper idea, I would like to let's take a little break. Let's take a little break and sing together a niggun, a song which will help us again reflect this idea, reflect on the idea that we are worthy, that we are, before we, there's still much more to learn about it. There's still much more depth to uncover. But to start, and we're going to share the screen once again to continue that video that we have watched, and we're going to see how the Lubavitcher Rebbe in his Chassidic gathering and this day is singing that song, which is a song dedicated to the day of Yud Tes Kislev, talking about a liberation. King David is talking about the liberation that he experienced, and the Alter Rebbe, when he was when he was released from prison, he wrote that he was released when he was in the middle of reciting this exact verse in the book of Psalms. Someone has what to say. Okay. I would try to sing along with it, and you could either listen or reflect or close your eyes and watch. Okay. Little lively tune. Before we jump even deeper. Alex, are you ready? Oh, for that. Okay, sure. So L'chaim, everyone, L'chaim. Who wants to say L'chaim? You know what's the idea of L'chaim? The idea of L'chaim is to take some deeper ideas and try to bring it inside. Okay, that's the way we do it is represented by drinking something with perhaps a little bitter, to bring it inside, to make it a little more part of who we are. So everything matters. If we matter just because we are a creature of God, so guess what? I matter just like this bottle matter.
No, you matter.
Why? What?
You made God's image on the bottom.
Okay, that's it. That's why I mentioned God's image. But if we don't know about God's image before we get into the God's image, if it's just because we are creatures of God, God is our craftsman. Well, God is a craftsman of us human. God is a craftsman of animals. God is a craftsman of this bottle and the tree outside, everything. So of course, that's why we believe that there is purpose. We spoke about it last week, right? Remember, who remembers Hashgacha Pratit, divine providence? Why? Right? Why do we believe in divine providence? Because if God creates it every moment, that means everything that God creates has a purpose, and it's with intention. Every single moment, everything in our lives. But really, as Marsha mentioned, of course, we humans have an advantage. And what that advantage is? The advantage is that we were created in the divine image. What does it mean to the divine image? I thought God doesn't have an image. Huh? Anyone wants to help me with that? Alex, what do you think? What do you mean to be?
We're not look alike. So the image something.
So he doesn't. So he's definitely not our parents.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So, what is it? What is it?
Something that everybody.
Because we all have a nose.
My opinion, you know what? It's interesting to us back in the Soviet Union that okay, let's bring to Mary. Which Mary? Everybody has own Mary. So the bottom line is that everybody has own, you know, how I see it, own image of creation, own image of yourself, own image of your how you matter, and basically this comes from you understanding how you feel about yourself, how you feel about people around you, and how you feel what you can do in regards to how you affect those people as well. So that's how I see it.
Thank you. So you're saying the human perception.
Yes, perception.
Perception. Very good. And you know what? You're right. What does it mean to be in divine image? Divine image, of course, God doesn't have any image. Divine image means a few things. First of all, wisdom. God possesses wisdom, so we have wisdom. We could make decisions. And from that actually stems something else, which is the most important thing of the human race, which is free choice. Free choice, free will. How do we have free will? This bottle doesn't have free will, right? Not even the salad doesn't have free will. The table doesn't have a free will. Why do we have free will? Why? Because we are created in the divine image. God has free will, so we have free will as well. And here's the catch. When we say that every human being is created in the divine image, is that based on achievements or is that something essential?
Is it because there's part of his divine essence in us?
It is, right? That means it's basic, it's essential, it's unquestionable. There is no difference between a baby, a day old, and a person lying on their deathbed, 120 years old. There's absolutely no difference. Here we're talking about a guy that, their potential is gone. Their achievements are great. The baby, they have a great potential. No achievement besides we're crying. And everyone is so proud. Right? We are so proud of our baby. They're crying, the baby came out and they're crying. Everyone is so proud. That's great, but it's not really an achievement. But still we say they both possess a divine image. And that's why, by the way, that's why in Judaism, we make absolutely no distinction between ending the life of someone who is, ill on their deathbed, and a young person and a baby, and there's absolutely no difference. We spoke about it in some of the other courses. Those remember. If a person is alive, that means that they are divine image alive here in this world. There's absolutely nothing you could do about it. Remember the slogan "Black Lives Matter"? Right? We're not going to get political here, okay? But I think that Black Lives Matter is actually it's an absurd statement, and not because people say, well, you really should say all lives matter. Not just that. I think that the second we put the word matter on life, this is already a crime.
Wait, it's already a crime
Crime
to say life matters?
to put the word matter on life. Let me explain myself.
Okay.
The slogan should be all lives sacred.
Ah,
Matter means it's up to discussion. Are they matter? Do they matter? Do they not matter? What do you think? Do we like it? Do we don't? Do we like their achievements? We don't like their achievements? Whatever it is, whatever political party you go to, matter already puts it into, there's a conversation. In Judaism, we look at it and we say, there's absolutely no conversation. What do you mean conversation about life? Black life, white life, doesn't make a difference. Who? The divine image. It's a divine image. All lives are sacred. And that's why in Judaism, the death killing is a non-negotiable.
So matter could be involved judgment. Is it possible?
So-
that way?
Judgment depends which kind of judgment you're having.
So matter means different things to different people, right? So that's the bottom line is that if we're talking about matter of life, or life matter, whatever matters, MI matter, as you mentioned, right? So what it means, that we're talking about life, or we're talking about human being, we're talking about human being that's alive, right?
Mhm.
And or any evidence that's still alive, right? So
Right.
I'm just trying to understand. So if somebody says, "What's the matter with you?" Right? So
What's the matter with you? That's something else.
So
What's the matter with you?
Oh,
So let's just say, okay, when we ask, do we matter? Do we not matter? We're talking. So the matter of a derogate is more like for to someone else, or to make sure to really it's self-worth, because life, your life, my life, each and every one of our lives, and each and every human life is, and that's the point. That's the point we're trying to make. Is by definition matter.
okay.
By definition, it matters, but not because it matters arbitrary. We decided these people, this person, lives matter. It's not our conversation. It's not our discussion. It's not our judgment. It's a sacred thing. It's a divine image. You're not playing with it. That's why the respect for Judaism is very into respect for every human being, regardless of Jews, non-Jews. You see how the Lubavitcher Rebbe would treat non-Jews who come to him. He would treat them with utmost respect. Because when you believe this is a divine image, then you don't play with divine image. Now, what does that tell me about my value, about my worth? Well, let me ask you this. What is God's value? What is God's worth? Is God worthy? Is God, so awesome because He created such an awesome world? Is that what makes Him awesome?
I don't think. most
No. If God to write a resume, I don't think he would write the creator of the world. That does huh?
I don't think words applies to God at all.
What?
I don't think words.
Very good. Okay, that's true. I agree with you. I agree with you. But if we want to put some human understanding to it, it's infinite, exactly. And because God is infinite, divine image is resembling infinity. Resembling infinity means it's not based on achievements. It's intrinsic. And that's why a baby, there's no difference between a baby and the most accomplished person in the world. In that, regarding to this idea, there's no difference. Why? Because this is infinite. Infinite doesn't look, oh, here is more, here is less. There's no more or less in infinity. You get it? God is not more worthy or more powerful because he created the world, or because he made because he makes miracles, because he made the oil burn for 8 days. It makes him more powerful than it was before. It doesn't work this way. And the same is with each and every one of us. Our value, our worth comes not because we need so and so, not even because we're capable of doing so and so, but because we are creatures of God, because we are divine image. That is the potential that we have. Now, you remember what we spoke about last week about the idea that God created the world for me, right? We said that in creation, the creation of the world, God created the human race, singular. Remember that idea? All animals, trees, everything God created by the masses. Why not? It costs the same. It costed the same to create 1 tree or 1,000,000 trees. It wasn't. It wasn't. But by a person, God created 1. Why is that? In order to teach each and every one of us, you matter. Just like Adam and Eve, you have the entire world for you. That means don't underestimate yourself. Now, it doesn't mean that the world owes you. I'm the king of the world, so let me just do whatever I want because the world was created for me. It's the exact opposite. You are not. It's not self-importance. It's God's importance. And this is really, my friends, this is an idea that we need to internalize. It's changing the way we look at ourselves. It's changing the way we look at fellow human beings. Let's say Chaim will share a story. Chaim. Garrett, we have more wine here if you would like. This is a pomegranate wine, so it's a little different. It's good, amazing. Anyone ever been to the island of I don't know if I pronounced it correctly. Curacao in the Caribbean? Curacao. Huh? How? Curacao. Thank you. Anyone ever been there? Curacao. Janice. Garrett, that's good. It's in the Caribbean. The longest standing shul in America is there. You know that? Oh, you are? Okay. That changes the story. So maybe later I will share a story about a flight attendant. We heard last night in Bellevue. I really like the story, and it really gonna bring out some ideas that we'll talk about soon. But so again, how do you pronounce it? Curacao. So Curacao. I'm Israeli, so I could pronounce it however I want. It's an island with it's a Jewish. I don't know what's the Jewish population there, but it's probably not too big. I know there was a guy there with the name of Chaim Groisman. Chaim Groisman was a Jew. They lived there. You know what? Let's start the story differently. What?
He built 2 synagogues.
Exactly. I said the longest standing synagogue. Now I wonder why, because no one ever walked into it. What do you like? Oh,
Sorry.
it was, I think, mid-70s or late 60s. That the Rebbe once called 2 boys to his office and told them two yeshiva boys. One of them I actually knew, Rabbi Moshe Kotlarski. He was actually later became the chairman of the educational arm of Chabad. He was responsible for opening Chabad houses all around the world. We're also family. My Shayna's sister, he married to his son. So we spent some time in his house. Was a special person, and I hear the story from him. He was called in, and the Rebbe told him, "I want you to go to the island of Curacao. Go there. What? How? What should we do there?" There was no instruction. Go there. You will figure out. You will see what you need to do. All right. If the Rebbe said, you gotta follow. So they went ahead and bought tickets. The earliest flight they could get, and they get out. Well, they land in Curacao. Where are they going? So they told the taxi driver, well, we have no idea where to go, honestly. He asked him, where are you going? I have no idea. So he told him, you know what? You look Jewish. You look Jewish. So there's a synagogue here. I would take you to the synagogue. Oh, okay. There's a synagogue here. Amazing. Okay, take us to the synagogue. They come to the synagogue. It was a late morning. And they're about to come in, and you see a guy is coming out. Guy's coming out. You see 2 yeshiva boys standing right there. You never saw yeshiva boys before, visiting the island. So he asked them, who are you? They said, well, we sent here by the Lubavitcher Rebbe. You hear that? He was about to collapse. What? Say it again. Who sent you here? I said, the Lubavitcher Rebbe sent us here. For what? We're not sure. Well, I told him, let me tell you for what. Can I tell you? I will tell you for what. And he tells them like this. I hear the story from the person. My name is Chaim Groisman. And he said, I have a son that we're raising him here in this island. It's not the most Jewish area, not the most Jewish town. And we try, we raised him Jewish. But it came to a point we needed to send him to public school. So we sent him to public school. And he still keeps with his traditions, and he's wearing a yarmulke, and he's going, holidays, he's taking off, and Shabbat, and all this. And the school doesn't like it. And the kids are irritating him. And it's just, the situation is not comfortable. And we're not sure what to do. And my son is really bothered by it. And last night, or 2 nights ago, I don't remember exactly the details, but a short while before, he was laying in bed and he was crying at night. He doesn't want to go to school because kids are not nice to him, and the parents are seeing this. Their hearts just tears apart. Can you imagine? So the child gets up in the morning and he tells his parents, Grandma came to me in the dream tonight. Grandma used to live with them in the house, talking about, old grandma from I don't know if she was a survivor, I'm not sure what, but and she has passed since, and she came to him in a dream. And she told him, I want you to know, if there's anything, or for anything that you need help with, you could always rely on the Lubavitcher Rebbe to help you. You never heard of the Lubavitcher Rebbe before. Never heard of the Lubavitcher Rebbe before. Well, he gets up in the morning telling his parents, I guess I should reach out to the Lubavitcher Rebbe, but who, what, they never heard. So the father decided, Lubavitcher Rebbe, okay, I guess I will go to shul. I guess I will go to the synagogue and I will pray that Hashem somehow should guide me to the Lubavitcher Rebbe. And here I am walking out of shul. And here you are, the two boys. And I'm asking you who you are. And you tell me you're sent by the Lubavitcher Rebbe. So now I know, I'm telling you why you were sent. Of course, they were shocked. So he invited them to the house and they're waiting for the child to come back from school. And they spent some time with the child. They stayed there for a few days. And they convinced the parents, it's actually not a good idea for the child to spend his time in public school, especially with everything going on. It's time to send them to yeshiva in New York. The parents were thrilled for the idea. They were, a little petrified, but it's fine. The boys took responsibility, and I think in the summer they took him to camp. They invited him to camp, and then the year after, he became, he joined the yeshiva, and he was literally saved by that. So a few months later, this Chaim Goisman sent the Rebbe a letter. He sent the Rebbe a letter, thanking the Rebbe for this. Thanking the Rebbe for answering the call, thanking the Rebbe for taking care of his child. And he signed the letter, a small Jew from Curacao. Who is he? He's not the leader. He's not a small Jew from Curacao. He got a response from the letter, from the Rebbe. With your permission, I would like to read it. Do you allow me? Let me open it up. The Rebbe writes to him like this. Mr. Chaim Yosef Groisman, greeting and blessing. I was pleased to receive your regards through our esteemed mutual friends. I guess those were the boys. I must, however, take exception to you referring yourself as a small Jew from Curacao. There is surely no need to emphasize to you at length that every Jew, man or woman, has a nefesh eloikis, that means a soul, which is a part of godliness above, as we're going to read soon, as explained in the Tanya, beginning of chapter 2. Thus, there is no such a thing as a small Jew. There is no such a thing as a small Jew. Never underestimate yourself. Never underestimate yourself.
So no matter your size, you're not small.
Exactly. And if you're 200 pounds, you're definitely much better Jew. What? I heard it from the person it happened to.
Did you go to the synagogue there, on that island? Yeah. That's what.
So is that island in Caribbean?
In the Caribbean, yeah. In the Caribbean.
So you are in CAU, and under the C is a little, a little 5 then.
Yeah. L'chaim, my friends, what's the idea of this story? The idea of this story, not just to say, oh, look, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, it's a miracle worker. That's not the point. The point is, the Lubavitcher Rebbe was a person who really believed in each and every one of us. He really believed in each and every one of us. There's no such thing as a small Jew. So next time you get up in the morning, don't look at yourself as a small person, a small little thing. You're not small. You're part of God. So first of all, l'chaim. So let's talk a little bit about this idea of a Jew having a nefesh elikis, having a soul, having a neshama. But before we go there, any questions so far? Or from my friends on Zoom, any questions?
Well, the idea of having a nefesh is not limited to Jews.
Correct. Okay, very good. Okay, that's a very good point. So until now we spoke about every human being. Every human being is a divine image. There is something we're going to go into now that is unique about Jews.
Said nefesh, and I don't know the second word that you said.
Elokit. Elokit is godly, divine.
Okay.
All right, it's Hebrew for divine. Let's go to the next part of that Mishnah that we read before. We read about that every human being was created in divine image. The Mishnah continues, and I will read it. Beloved are the Jewish people, for they are called children of God, and even greater love is shown in that it was made known to them that they are called children of God. As it says, you are children of your God. Children, have you ever heard that term, the children of God? What does that mean? Does God, first we said God has an image, now God has children? So created, so you're a creature. What is the children? Parent. So what does that mean? What do we mean when we say that God is not just a creator, but he's our parent? What is the difference between a creator and parent? Isn't a creator greater than a parent?
He's loving, he's our protector.
Okay.
All those things that a parent can do, he's a provider.
But isn't, so great, those are great qualities. The question is, isn't a creator, by definition, will be a lover or a protector, you know? Especially if it's the creator at every single moment. If he wouldn't love you, he wouldn't create you.
Right, but if someone creates once and doesn't continue to create.
Right, but we spoke about it last time that doesn't really work this way. But so true. Of course, when we talk about the God as our parent, it does have those ideas, but it's something even deeper. It's something even deeper than that. The difference between being created in divine image and being God's children. Divine image means that you resemble God. You resemble God. Children of God means you are godly. See the difference? There is resembling God, meaning you look like him. You look like it. And there is being a child. What is a child? A child is a part of his or her parents. They're a physical, biological part of them. Now, can I say that Musia is my child because she looks like me? Do you look like me? Yeah? Is Musia your child? Is Musia my child because she looks like me? Is that a correct phrase? What? Strong evidence. Very good. That's true. Okay, and you said a word. There is a strong resemblance. I truly appreciate it. But that is not the reason. That's not what makes her my child. What makes her my child? She has my DNA, right? That's what makes her my child. Well, because she has my DNA, that's why she looks like me. All right. But that's already a byproduct of the real reason. It doesn't work the other way around. Now, and what, imagine you have a child that absolutely doesn't look like the parent. But we know for sure, okay, 100% legit. But they don't look like it. You know, forget about, physical appearance. Their personalities are completely different. Completely different personality. You know, we have those, right? We have those. Does that make them any less of a child? Of course not. Of course not. You know, imagine you have, a disciple of a teacher, of a rabbi, of a sage. And they learned so much, and they are so connected to their rabbi, to their teacher, they're thinking the same, they're feeling the same, and then you have the rabbi's child who never learned, he had a trauma from his father, so he never wanted to learn, he never, who is more connected to the father? Well, it's different kind of connections. But nothing is going to make that disciple is never going to become a child. No matter how hard you're going to work, you're just not. Even though you're thinking the same, you're talking the same, you're learning, everything is the same, but you are not a child. That's the difference between resemblance and essence. Resemblance is you're looking like it. Why? Because you are created. You're created by, God created you. You're by divine image. The children of God means you're not just created like God, you are a piece of God. Now, what does that mean? Piece of God. Let's read, and here we come to a piece of Tanya. Tanya is the main monumental work of the Alter Rebbe that we celebrate today. His contribution to the world, and we spoke about why it's so necessity, why that's a basic necessity. This is why it's basic necessity. This is how he's teaching us how to look at each and every one of us. Text number 8. Where are we holding? Bob, go ahead. 165.
The second soul in the Jew is an actual part of godliness from above. As it says, Israel is my distinguished and illustrious child, and you are children of their God. Just as a child is drawn from the parents' essence that is contained in their mind, so too the soul of every Jew is drawn from God's wisdom. And since God is wise, but not from human limited wisdom, for he is wisdom of one, the Jewish soul, which stems from the wisdom, is likewise one with him.
What is the Rebbe saying here? That the Rebbe is basically saying each and every one of us is a piece of God, literally, actually. Now, of course, you can chop God to pieces. That's not the point. But the idea is, just like a child is a piece of the parent. Why is it a piece of the parent? Because he's made from the same stuff. Made from the same stuff, the same DNA. That is what makes them special. Now, and here comes the next point. Being a child, and here comes what Barbara mentioned, not just speaks to essence, it also speaks to love. And let me ask you this. And if you're a parent, you could connect to it more. If not, you could definitely understand that you're it's definitely an experience of life. Do you love your child because they do well in school? Huh, Alex? Do you love your child because they do well in school? I'm not asking if they do well in school.
I might like him, but not. That doesn't help them. But a lot of times I tell him, I don't like you, but I still love you.
I don't like you, but I love you a lot.
But yeah, not necessarily.
Still a Chaim for that one. Chaim, my friend.
We talk about children, you know what? And resemblance, right? Don't
Resemble your father.
Don't grow the bear. Don't grow. Just.
Do you want to go beer with it? No, don't worry, you're not going to. Do we love our children because of what they do? Absolutely not. We love our children because of who they are. Exactly. They are gifts from above. We're entrusted to have them, and this is why we love them. And that's why, by the way, the love a parent has to a child is at full display when they are a young little baby, helpless, not able to achieve anything. They're not talking, they're not, they do a little thing, you get all excited, but they do nothing. They do nothing. And you love them the most. Why is that? Why is that? It doesn't make sense, does it? Because I appreciate you, exactly. What? They need you more. And over there comes the relationship. It's much stronger there. Why? Because over there you see this is me. This is me. This is who I am. Sometimes the achievements and the external parts are actually, how do you say, there could be a little distraction for the real love. I don't like you, but I love you. What does that mean? Does that make sense?
It does.
It doesn't make sense. And you know what? It's not supposed to make sense. Because the love from a parent to a child doesn't have to make sense. Not everything needs to make sense. When did the love to the Jewish people start? When did the Jewish people become a nation? It's Sinai. But you know, let's text 9a comes from the prophet Hosea. Says, when Israel was a child, I loved him, and from Egypt I called my son. You know, when God called us, his children, and the love, it means the love that a parent has to a child at full display, when was it? In Egypt. In Egypt, we were not Jews yet. We didn't receive the Torah yet. It was way before Sinai. We were at the lowest place. We were in a slavery mentality. We were part of the Egyptian mentality. We had absolutely nothing to show off for ourselves. Nothing. And God said, you know what? This is what I love. This is how I love them. Why? Because a child you love not because of what they do, because of who they are. Because of who they are. You know, imagine your child is acting up. Ever happened to you? Never. Every day, huh? It's acting up. And you see from the window, you see the neighbors. You happen to see the neighbors. And you see that their child, you know what we say in Yiddish, a malach. Alex, you know what a malach is? Ever heard from your grandmother? A malach. Malach means an angel. An angel. The best. The best child. Do you think you will have any temptation to switch up? To switch up. Take their child and I will give them my child and that's it.
Just momentarily.
Momentarily. Right. Let's recognize, maybe momentarily, but we know, even if we have that momentarily, we know that's not true. We know that's not our real essence.
If they knocked on the door and made the offer, you wouldn't accept.
Exactly. You wouldn't accept. And if you see, God forbid, you will see your child in danger. If you will see both of them in danger, you will run. You will run to save your child first. Why? Because you don't want anyone else's child. You want your child. Now, you don't even want a better child. You want your child. That's what you want. What? It is. Look, let's say the text 9b is a text coming from the Rebbe, the Lubavitcher Rebbe. Text 9b, where are we? Barbara, 167. It's a little long, but take it away.
A father's love for an older child who has developed and liked and refined character may not come solely from the fact that this is the father's child. It may also be because the child is wise, romantic, or respectful. Not love is revealed. The father's love for a young child is different. It's not about what the child does or doesn't do. It's an essential love because they are one. Father and child are one essence. For the older child, there is essential bond, meanings. The love that stems from observable qualities can sometimes overshadow. The essential love is always there. It's just not always visible.
Thank you, Barbara. That's exactly the point we're talking about. That is what it means to be a child. Now, let's apply it to ourselves. So you get up in the morning. Remember that you get up in the morning. You ask yourself, okay, why did I get up? Why did I get up? Why am I up? I mean, you want to continue sleeping. That's for sure. That's for sure. But in a deeper sense, you're asking yourself, do I matter? And you know what the answer is? What did he answer? Of course you do. Do I matter not only because I am about to achieve the most amazing achievement today? No. In fact, it's going to make no difference what you're going to achieve today. Think about that. It makes no difference what you're going to achieve today. The fact that you are the most precious child to Hashem. Period. Yeah. Yes. That's exactly what we say. And thank you for bringing it up, because I'm planning to bring it up at the end. That is, but no, let's talk about it now. When you get up and say, Modeh ani lefanecha, this is the Jewish prayer, first thing we say in the morning. We thank Hashem for giving us another day. What do we say? We don't say, thank you Hashem for bringing me another day in which I'm going to achieve the most. No. Thank you Hashem for bringing me another day. Period. Thank you Hashem for being here. Thank you for making me being here. Thank you for entrusting your neshama, the neshama, the soul that I have. Thank you for entrusting me with this privilege. This is a privilege. And if we get up in the morning and we recognize this and we think about it and it enters our consciousness, how much better our days will be. Would we really need to run around and look for someone else to approve for our existence? Do we really need to go around and try to get someone to compliment us and try to get someone to comment on our social media posts and get a raise on our... Is that really where my worth is coming from? Or is there something much, much, much deeper that no one in the world is going to change it? Nothing I will do is going to change it. No matter how much I will try to corrupt it, it's going to remain pure. Remember the story of Hanukkah? Right, we're about to celebrate Hanukkah Sunday evening. Right? What is the story of Hanukkah? The Romans were basically made all the oils in the temple impure. The Greeks are. Thank you. You see, that's what some whiskey does. Yes. The Greeks were trying to make all the oils around impure, but there was one little jar of oil that they couldn't get to. And that little jar of oil was able to sustain the menorah later for 8 days. This is really the story of each and every one of us. Think about it. We look at ourselves, we look inside. We have our treasures, we have our potentials, but sometimes we look at ourselves and they're all impurified. They're not pure anymore. They got so corrupted, and we got so involved in many things. And we look at ourselves and say, can I really be the menorah? Can I really be the one to spread light around me? Spread holiness around me? I don't have what it takes. The story of Hanukkah reminds us this idea, this little jar of oil. Every Jew has this little jar of oil inside, which is untouchable. No matter what you have done, no matter what you have gone through life, and no matter how many people and how many cultures and how many times someone tried to defile that little jar of pure oil, pure connection, it's not going away. You have it inside. The only thing we need to do is to tap into it. Right? John, is that what you mentioned? To tap into it. Tap into it, that means find that if the priest would not find this jar of oil, we wouldn't celebrate Hanukkah. Right? It comes together. You need to believe that you have that jar of oil and you could find it. You should find it. Try to find it. And when you find it, and you are able to light your own menorah, then you become a source of light. This is the story of Hanukkah. My friends, let's say L'chaim before we jump forward. Okay, no, let's hear L'chaim. Should we say a little another Hasidic tune? If you know it, you could join me. If not, you could just listen and close your eyes and reflect on this idea. Yada 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 mama mama yo mama yada da mama mama yo yana ya yana yada 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 mama mama ya mama mama ya mama yo Yinam Riya Yalada Ya Yina Ya Yinai Ayalada Yo Yina Ya Yinam Mama Ya Yinai Oh Yina Mama Mama Ya Mama Oh, you know, Ridaya Lada, you know, you know, Ayalada, you know, Yadam, Ayalada, you know. Oh, you know, mama, mama, ya mama, my. Oh, you know, yama, mama, mama, ya, you know, la da da da, la da, you know, la da da da, ma, la da, oh, you know. Ya mama, ya mama, mama, oh, you know, la da da, ma, la da, ya da, da da, ma, la do, you know. Ya mama, you know. Time. Let's try to take it in, this idea that we are the most precious thing for God. And it's not because of what we do, but because of who we are. But now the question will come, does that give us a free pass? Does that give us a free pass? Every privilege comes responsibility. And let me share with you a story that Jackie and Bob heard last night. Last night we went to Bellevue. Was a Hasidic gathering there, Yud Tes Kislev farbrengen, and the guest speaker that I mentioned a few weeks ago was Rabbi Benny Zippel. You remember this? Remember that Avrami Zippel, the rabbi that we saw in the video, was abused? His father. An incredible person. And he shared a story. He said he was, he's the Chabad rabbi in Utah, Chabad representative in Utah. State of Utah. Even the state of Utah has very strong Jewish presence. And he said once he knew a college kid that came to the Chabad house to learn, to connect, and they became friends. And at some point, it's just making a long story short, but this college kid was looking for a job, to make some more money. And Salt Lake City is the Delta hub for the western part of the United States. Delta. Were you part of Delta, or it looks like you don't want to be part of Delta?
It's the biggest company.
It is. Huh? What airline? Eastern Airline. Okay. Anyways, he started working with Delta Airlines. why was he working with there? What did we do? What was he doing there? He was the one to load the luggage onto the plane. You know, those people that just throw your luggage. Baggage handlers, very good. That's the official name. Why did he want to work for an airline company? But a flight benefit, very good. You know, college kid, you know, he doesn't have much money, but here you're working for airline, you could get free flights to anywhere, and you know, that's amazing. Well, you could speak from experience, huh?
Still one? No.
It's flying in her mind. In her mind, she's flying colors. So anyway, so this college kid did the same thing. He was flying all around, and he's, you know, the rabbi said, you know, he would come to me, you know, on Thursday, Rabbi, I need a vacation, I need a break this weekend. Like, okay, so what's the plan? Well, I'm gonna go to New York. All right, very good. Coming back on Monday next week. Oh, I need a break. Where are you going? I'm going to France. All right, go to Paris, no problem. I'm going here, going there, we're going all around the place, all over the place. One day he's coming to him, Rabbi, I need a break. Like, okay, where are you going? I'm going to Switzerland. Switzerland, all right. What? Switzerland, I think it's. Oh, you did? Okay. Oh, yeah, you told me. Yeah, that's why you speak a little Yiddish. So the rabbi told him, all right, enjoy your time in Switzerland. Don't tell Janet that you went to Switzerland. Enjoy your time in Switzerland. Enjoy your time in Switzerland. He came back Monday. And the guy is as upset as you could imagine. You know why. But that's where they read a different reason. The guy is furious. So the rabbi asked him, let's give him a name. Avi, what's the matter? Right? What's the matter with you? What happened? You won't believe it. What happened? Like, well, why do I work for Delta? I work for Delta for the flight benefits. Now, back in the day, because today, all the flights are very full, so you can't get anything. But back in the days, the flights were much less full. So the workers were able to get first class ticket to anywhere you want to go. You know, if you had access to the back end, you see which flights are full, which ones are not. You see the flights which are not full. Flight to Switzerland is not full this week. Well, first class ticket from Salt Lake City to JFK, from JFK to Switzerland. Very good. So he would go to everywhere, would go first class. Anyways, he comes back, he's furious. You know, I asked him, what happened? He's like, you won't believe what happened. Tell me what happened. No, you won't believe what happened. What happened? Tell him, look, I flew to Switzerland, I had a great time. It was in the middle of the summer. So Monday morning, I came to the airport to catch a flight because I need to be back. It was a Sunday evening, whatever it was. I need to be back to college. And I come to the gate, and the gate attendant is handing me the boarding pass. And I'm looking at the boarding pass. You know where they sat me?
Back and coach.
Coach. But as Stephanie said, the last row in the back. Tragedy, huh? That's the best seat. So he didn't think that. I mean, if you want to compare the back seat to the first class, you know, he asked her, I'm sorry, it looks like you have a mistake. Do you know who I am? She said, let's take him, stop for a joke. We didn't do any jokes today. You know that guy that was a college student, talking about college students, and he was not doing too well in school, and he was he was in Harvard. They were not doing too well. Came to final exam, and the professor is sitting there, and everyone is doing they're doing the finals, and the guy has no idea. He didn't prepare, he didn't do anything, but he needs to make it for next year. So he's not sure what to do. So he starts copying from here, looking here, and the professor gets him. And tell him, hello, get back to your exam. And he's looking here, looking there, looking there. At some point, the professor told him, Mister, you wouldn't be able to, I wouldn't be able to pass you. Anyways, continue the whole time. And you know, it came to a point that the professor told him, Mister, it was already like towards the end of the exam. Mister, you're not passing these tests, just so you know. I've seen which kind of test you gave. So, student looked at the professor. Professor, do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? The professor looked at him. I don't care who you are. Here you're going to learn. If you don't study, you don't get your degree. And it doesn't make a difference who you are. And the student looked at him. Do you really don't know who I am? Do you know who I am or not? So the professor got all furious. I don't care who you are. If you don't study, you don't pass the test. Whoops. To which the student looked, 1 second. Again, you don't know who I am. So he took his test, put it into everyone's test and ran out. Anyways, he didn't know who he was. Anyway, so the guy that then he asked her, do you know who I am? I'm a Delta employee. What do you mean you put me in the back? Like, I know you're a Delta employee. So why don't you give me a first class ticket? So he looked at him and said, because of how you dress.
What?
So that tell yes. What do you mean? Tell us a little bit.
All elements.
You have a code. Properly dressed, exactly. So the guy basically came to the plane. He wanted to fly comfortably, right? Comfortable. So how does a college kid come to a plane in the middle of the summer? Exactly. I mean, she told him because of how you dress. Now, he was really dressed. That's the thing. Shorts. I mean,
He
shorts.
was undressed.
Undressed, exactly. Underdressed in a major way. No socks, flip-flops, shorts. You know, he basically what? So she tells him because of how he dressed. He looks at her like, what's wrong with that? Like, well, look at yourself. Like look at, and he was like, what do you mean? Look at everyone around. Look at everyone around. Am I that worth? What do you mean? Because of how I dress? So because of how I dress, you're going to deprive me of my first class ticket? So she told him, she was like, well, I don't care of everyone else, of how everyone else dressed. You know why? Oh, no,
I'm also a nurse.
oh, okay. I say, okay, I thought it's something, okay, sorry. So she told him, I don't care how everyone else is dressed. You know what? I can tell someone else how to dress. They are paid passengers. Paid passengers, we don't control them. But you are Delta representative. And a Delta representative need to come dressed. And as Jenny said, there's adequate. You need to come with a button-down shirt, and you need to come with, I mean, socks. How brilliant do you need to be? Socks and shoes, and you know, you need to be presentable. Yeah. Symbols.
And she asked me that first out, the synagogue. There was no way that we could.
You couldn't even go to the synagogue.
I couldn't go to the synagogue. I couldn't do anything that.
Really?
anyone
They restrict
expected
you.
me. So-
Interesting. Wow. Wow. Right. That's very interesting. So that's the idea. If you are company representative, there is a different set of expectations from you. If you're a paid passenger could no one can tell them what to do. But if you are company representative, it's something else. And the same goes with our idea here. So we understand that we are children of God. We understand that we are precious regardless of what we do, regardless of our accomplishments, just by the fact that we are. Does that give us a free pass? The contrary. The contrary. That privilege comes with responsibility. And that responsibility, of course, the Torah tells us what is our code. What is our code? Not just for dressing, but really for everything. Not how you dress, but how you behave. What you eat. You know, we have Jackie and Bob here, right? The Britain royalty. What do we know about the Britain royalty, Bob? It doesn't exist anymore. Okay, we're not getting political. We're not getting political here. But the royal family have rules for everything. Crazy rules. How you hold the cup of tea, and who you touch, and how you do, and every little thing. And you think with whoa, that's so restrictive. Is that restrictive, or is that part of the privilege of being part of royalty? Number two, and this is, my friend, this is what the 613 mitzvahs are. They're not just restrictions for life. Those are the code, the value code for the company that we are representing. For God, God is giving us a gift of privilege. God is giving us a gift of purpose. How do we meet those expectations? Those expectations are being met by mitzvahs. When we do a mitzvah, we give charity, when we put on tefillin, Shabbos. Shabbat is the day that Hashem is telling you, as my child, as my representative, I need you resting on Shabbat. I want to see you in shul. I want to see you making kiddush. All this stuff. And on a day-to-day basis, those are not restrictive rules. The opposite. Those are the rules that give us the gift of being God's children. So this is what true meaning. This is where true meaning comes from. So, if we're about to really sum up this incredible course that I personally I enjoyed it a lot. The last 6 lessons, 6 weeks. We have gone through a lot. We've gone through about talking about meaning, about alignment, about purpose, about time, about creation, about hashgacha pratis, divine providence. But here we came really to the crescendo, to the ultimate part. What's the ultimate part? The pinnacle. What's the pinnacle? We are just by who we are, not by what we do, and not by just by who we are, by our default setting. We are meaningful, we are precious, we are purposeful, and it's time to tap into it. How do we tap into it? We tap into it through doing a mitzvah or through saying the Modeh. So if this is something that I would encourage each and every one of you to think about. What is something that I do starting today, starting tonight, starting tomorrow? What is something that I could add in my life that will strengthen my connection with that company code, with that piece of me, with that royalty that I possess? Not something I need to create, something that I possess. How can I strengthen that connection? And that connection will be strengthened by learning, by doing a mitzvah, but something to find something. And here's my suggestion. Anyone wants to hear my suggestion? Sure. You remember we spoke about 2 weeks ago. L'chaim. 2 weeks ago, we spoke about time, how every moment is precious, how every day is significant, right? Every day, the weekly Torah portion, remember that the weekly Torah portion is divided into 7 portions, because 7 portions it represent, it's basically correlates with each day of the week. And you look in the Torah portion, it gives you meaning, gives you purpose, gives you direction of how the day should go. There's also the same thing, the same idea, is with the learning of the Tanya, that monumental book that the Alter Rebbe authored. It really goes into the depths of who we are and explores exactly this. Exactly these ideas that we spoke about. There's also a daily cycle that started today. It's a yearly cycle. The cycle goes every year, and it started today. A new cycle. It's another something. It's short. It's going to take you 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but it's going to give you meaning, something to think about, something to learn, a connection for a connection with who you are. Now, and here is a suggestion that I have. There's an incredible booklet that is basically contains the weekly Torah portion with the daily Tanya studies, with the daily Maimonides studies, different studies that are daily oriented, and this is called Chayenu. Chayenu, it's called. Chayenu means our life. Chayenu.com, Chay. Chayenu. I will send you the message. We'll send you a message after that. Let me. I will see exactly how to spell it. And here's the thing: they have. So this is basically a booklet that is coming out every week. It's a new booklet every week, and they send it to you, mail it to your door. I'm not sure how often. Maybe every month for the rest of the month. Now they run a promotion for 50% off, ending tonight. Chayenu is let me find it here. I will tell you exactly how to spell it. It's CHAYENU.org. Chayenu. Okay? And find over there, they have a promotion, though literally 50% off, $100 a year, and you get a weekly dose of Jewish connection to your door, that you have something to think about, you have something to learn, you have a tangible connection to Yiddishkeit. And this is what it means, my friends. This is what it means to be a Jew. This is what it means to be a Jew. So we asked, this is a celebration of today, right? The celebration of today is that we celebrate the revelation of Chassidus, the Hasidic philosophy, of the Alter Rebbe. Why is it such a basic necessity? Why is it so basic? Why is it so basic? Because of what we learned today. How can you, in 2025, how can you live through Jewish life without understanding, without knowing who you are? And that gift was given to us by the Alter Rebbe B'Chassidus. To look at the inner part of who we are, to look at the neshama, the fact that we have a neshama, the fact that we have a soul, the fact that our soul is connected no matter what. That is the revelation of a Mashiach, of the time when Mashiach will come. That is the revelation of knowing who we are, knowing what the world is about. That is what Chabad is about. Why is Chabad flourishing all around the world, including here in Bein Majan and North Kitsa? Why is it flourishing? Because the Chabad is we're not here just to bring Torah to the world. Of course, we are here for that, but we are here to project that love and appreciation that the Rebbe, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, who's the one to send us here, that by his legacy and inspiration, this is why all the Chabad houses, including this Chabad house right here in Bein Majan, is established. This idea, there's no such thing as a small Jew, right? No small Jew. There's no such thing as a small Jew. The rejection of love, regardless of who they are. Back in the days before the days of Hasidus, if someone wouldn't be, the most Torah scholar, the most Torah learned, the most, to someone who's keeping all the mitzvahs, people wouldn't look at them. That created such a division in the world, in the Jewish world, between the scholars and the simple people. Hasidus came and connected them. There's absolutely, something. I need to tell you something. To God, there's absolutely no difference between the most Torah scholar, the most learned Torah scholar, and the Jew that doesn't even know that they're Jewish. There's absolutely no difference. There's no difference. Now, of course, if you know that you're Jewish, and you know what being Jewish mean, of course, you are held to higher standards. So you better tap into that potential. But that doesn't, if you don't do that, that doesn't take away from your potential. It's a crime. It's a crime to have that and not to use it up. But it's a crime. It's a tragedy. But the inner value of a Jew never changes. Yes.
Shama, if someone was raised in a different culture, but in their soul, they know they're Jewish. How does that?
Saying convert. Someone convert. Meaning someone who grew up non-Jewish or not in the Jewish culture? Okay, it's a very good question. I don't know if we have the time to go into it in depth, but the gist of it is a Jew is a Jew no matter what. If a Jew was born Jewish, born Jewish means he was born to a Jewish mother. That gives them the neshama, and then it doesn't make a difference where they grew up, how much they learned, how many mitzvahs they did. Doesn't make a difference. They're Jewish, just like a child. It's not a child because of what they did, right? As we spoke, it's because of who they are. So that doesn't change the thing. Now, Judaism, though, is not just like a family that if you weren't born into it, you can join it. Of course, there is a conversion process. So once you did the conversion process, according to the Jewish law, then you get that neshama, you get that Jewish connection. Yes, it's a godly thing, the divine thing. Yeah. And then there's absolutely no difference. So, l'chaim, my friends, let's raise our glasses one more time. Alex, one more time.
Yeah.
Before the road. Before the road. L'chaim, let's say l'chaim. Let's try to internalize. Nazarovia.
I'm going to tell the funny.
Oh, yes. So first, before you go into the funny mode, let's raise our glasses, really, my friends. First of all, congratulations. You just concluded the 6 weeks of Kabbalah meaning. Round of applause for everyone. Very good. I hope that by now you feel that your life is more meaningful, but especially after tonight's class. And tonight wasn't really a class. That's really what a farbrengen is: to sit, to discuss, to sing, to reflect. And Alex, before we go into the final mode, can we just sing one more song?
Oh, definitely.
Okay. But before we go there, we're gonna say l'chaim, and we're gonna try to internalize this message, my friends. This is the most essential message that we could give. We could remind ourselves and remind our children. It is a joyful gathering. So exactly, l'chaim. Let's say l'chaim. Let's raise our glasses. And before we conclude, before we go into Alex's funny thing, we're going to watch again. We're going to go back to the Rebbe's farbrengen, to the Rebbe's gathering, and we are going to sing together a very, very, very significant and important Hasidic tune, which is called the Arba. What? The Arba Bavis, the 4 stanzas. And this is a very, very holy song that is only sung on very special occasions. You could see here at the Rebbe's face how the Rebbe is very serious during this song, because really it's a holy song that they actually composed by the Alter Rebbe himself. Is that Chabad, correct? Exactly. So let's try to sing it together. I invite you to close your eyes, to reflect on what we have learned, to think about something that you could take upon yourself to bring this connection into your life. Yes, Bob.
It's said that
it may take just one more mitzvah and then Mashiach will come.
That's it. That's the way it goes. Exactly. So you better do your part. You better do your part. All right. Let's watch and sing. Chaim. Very good, my friends. So this is a song. This is come on. Okay, hi, my friends. This is really bringing us back into our physical world, and the question we need to ask ourselves: where do we bring this connection back to life, to our physical life? Again, if you could make it into this Chayenu promotion, I greatly recommend, highly recommend this. Or any other thing you could think about, something that help this connection be more real in your life. Hi, my friends, and I cannot, and just one more commercial thing. In just a few weeks, or in January, we will start a new course called Captivating Cases. Right, that's right. Captivating Cases in Jewish Torah response, or something like this. Remember, please forgive me for Captivating Cases in Rabbinic Responsa. We just saw how meaning emerges from timeless truth, right? The divine purpose that runs through life. Question is, how is it playing in real scenarios in life? How does Torah play in real life real-time scenario. We're going to go throughout history. What? Application, exactly. And see how throughout history, how the Jews from Auschwitz to the Crusades to different difficult times in the Jewish period and peaceful times, how Jews found every topic in life, how they found it in the Torah, how the rabbis made their decisions. We're gonna visit those questions. We're gonna go delve into them. I'm very excited for them for this course. So stay tuned for more information coming up. L'chaim, l'chaim, my friends. Alex, I'm holding you too long, so go ahead.
Farina Register, does it bring anything to you? So it was a famous